Hello, Rama Pupodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with the next chapter. Thereafter, young Meher fell into a semi-idiotic condition and was hardly able to look after himself. His eyes became dull and lifeless, and he lacked the intelligence to perform the most elementary duties of a human being, such as taking food, washing oneself, attending to the calls of nature, and so on. When his father said eat, he took his food in a mechanical manner. Otherwise, he did not understand why the food was put before him. In short, he became a human automation. A young man of 20 whose parents have to care for him like a child of 3 seems a case of mental regression, and the distracted father concluded that he had overworked his mind while cramming for an examination. Meher was taken to various doctors who diagnosed mental breakdown and gave him injections. In 9 months' time, improvement in his lamentable condition set in and gradually increased until he was able to understand his environment intelligently and to act more normally. After his recovery, it was discovered that his character had changed. His scholastic ambitions were gone. His ambitions for a worldly career had disappeared, while his interest in games and sports had collapsed. All these things were replaced by a deep thirst for the religious life and by a continuous aspiration to spiritualize himself, because he believed that these changes took their root in the kiss which the Mohammedan woman fakir has bestowed on him. Meher approached the old lady for advice about his future. She directed him to find a spiritual teacher. He inquired where this boon was to be obtained. She waved her hand vaguely into space for reply. He visited several holy men of repute in the locality. Then he went further afield to the villages within 100 miles of his native Pune. One day he walked into a little stone-built temple near Sakori. It was a poor, humble shrine, but it was the abode of a very holy man, or so the villagers said. And so, when Meher came face to face with Upasani Maharaj, he felt that he had found his master. The young aspirant for holiness made periodic excursions from home to Sakori. He usually spent a few days at a time with his teacher, but once he remained for 4 months. Meher asserts that during this period he was being perfected, made ready for his mission. One evening, he collected 30 of his old schoolmates and boyhood friends, gave them mysterious hints of an important meeting, and brought them to the little temple in Sakori. The doors were locked, and Upasani Maharaj, the stern-looking holy man who lived there, rose and addressed the gathering. He spoke to them about religion, told them to seek virtue, informed them that he had made Meher the spiritual inheritor of his own mystic powers and knowledge, and finally announced to the surprised young men that Meher had attained divine perfection. He strongly advised them to become followers of their Parsi friend, for then they would receive great spiritual benefit both in this life and in that to come. Some of his listeners took his advice and others remained skeptical. About a year later, when Meher had reached the age of 27, the young Parsi announced to his small flock that he had become conscious of a divine mission which he has to carry out, and that God has given him a work of colossal importance to mankind. He did not straightaway reveal the precise nature of that mission, but within a few years he let the secret emerge. He was destined to become a messiah. In 1924, Meher left India for the first time. He embarked on a journey to Persia with a company of half a dozen disciples, telling them that he would tour the country of his ancestors. When the ship touched port at Bushaya, he suddenly changed his mind and left the place by the next homeward boat. 3 months later, rebel forces captured Tehran, the Persian capital, and deposed the old regime. A new Shah came to the throne. Meher Baba then turned to his followers and said, "Now you see the result of my mystic workings during my visit to Persia." Let's continue the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupud.